Welcome everyone, Costin here on Serious Gaming with a video about Dragon Age Keep. I'll be going over the choices that I'll be importing in Dragon Age Inquisition, and that's the primary reason I'm making this video. It's not to show off the Keep, there's plenty of videos showing off the Keep, but this is where I stand with my choices. These are the choices I'm importing in the game, and I'm offering an explanation to some of them at least as to why I picked them. Not all of them, because I don't believe all of them deserve an explanation, but some of them more controversial ones anyway. So, Warden-wise, I went with the Dwarf Noble. I think it's the best origin to pick for the game. He's alive and well. And male Dwarf Noble, Warrior. By the way, Sword and Shield, if you want specifics right there. And I think it's the best origin to pick because you are involved in a lot of political machinations and you are involved in fighting a war. And the Dwarf Noble seems the best suited to their role for me. Obviously, that's not something you know when you start the game, Dragon Age Inquisition, but that's something I found out, after I played the other origins, got informed about them, and so on and so forth. Now, companion-wise, I romanced Morgan. I just like Claudia Black. I watched a lot of Stargate, and I think she did a pretty good job there. Also, I watched a number of episodes from Farscape, where she also played one of the main characters. So, yeah, I like the voice actress right there. And she's going to play, I'm not sure a major role, but a significant role to a certain degree or another in Dragon Age Inquisition. Recruited Dog, recruited Stan, whatever. Killed Wynn at the Broken Circle. Now, for a long time in Dragon Age Keep, they actually had a problem whereby the choices was tied somehow to the fate of the circle, which isn't actually what happens in Dragon Age Origins. You can kill Wynn and then keep the circle alive. I just personally hate Wynn, so fuck her. Although she played a primary role in one of the novels, I'm wondering how they'll retcon that, how they'll explain that in Dragon Age Inquisition. It was a novel involving really events at in Orlais, at Val Royeaux, at Whitespire, why the mages broke off from the Chantry, following Kirkhold and all of that. Anyway, Loghain alive and well, recruited Oberyn, recruited Zevran. As for why I spare Loghain, I found him a very interesting character. I like his voice actor, and before I had played Dragon Age Origins, not many games offered you the possibility of not killing the antagonist. So I was curious, and I think sparing him and then having conversations in the camp with him does add a lot to the game. By that point with Alistair, he doesn't have much to offer beyond that point, Alistair. Whereas Loghain has a lot of conversations to offer, offers his perspective about events in the game, and he's just someone very interesting to talk to, so that's why I spared them, and I genuinely like the character. Simple as that. I don't care about Caitlyn, never gave a fuck about Caitlyn. I saw no reason to give a fuck about Caitlyn, not that I see Loghain's decisions at Ostagar as betrayal. I didn't care about the Kuslands, I didn't care about how, one way or another. In fact, killing How was a non-elf or non-city elf, sorry, human noble, to me is just pointless. Like, yeah, you're in my way, now get out of there. It's like, yeah, great use of an excellent actor right there. Great use of an excellent actor. I know it's a lot more involved with the human noble origin, but I don't care about that. So anyway, recruited Oberyn, he's a nice character. Recruited Zevran. Hey, if you're gonna show mercy all around. Killed Alistair. This is not about revenge or anything like that. I just think that sparing Alistair would lead to Ferelden going to shit, and Ferelden has already had enough problems. A civil war, a blight, or Legion occupation. It needs stability. And that stability can only come if there's a strong ruler, Anora, who is not opposed in power. And so that's why I killed Alistair, because if you spare him, if you keep him alive, he'll be used by political factions who are going to try and destabilize the country. You see Tegan recruiting Alistair in Dragon Age 2, for instance. Anyway, Morgan had an old god baby with Loghain. Now, this is, let's just say, this is a bit interesting. Loghain having sex with Morgan. It's a bit amusing, actually. And also, I find it interesting that the hero of Riverdane would actually have a child with Morgan. Yes, the old god baby plays a role in Dragon Age Inquisition. Surprisingly, actually. Surprising to a lot of people. And I just find it a nice touch to have that child be of Morgan and Loghain. The Warden doesn't matter in the large scheme of things. The Warden is an irrelevant character. His choices will have an impact on the world for a lot of time. But the Warden himself, fuck the character. he's nothing. He's irrelevant. He might as well not have existed as a person. The choices he made or she made, yeah, those are important. But the character itself, no, doesn't really matter at all. Didn't fight Flemeth for the Grimoire. I doubt that would have an impact. I didn't fight her because there's no point in doing so. By the way, Wynn would be dead in Dragon Age Inquisition regardless, because she dies in one of the major novels for the Dragon Age universe. Anyway, Urn of Sacred Ashes. Destroy the urn. Why? Because fighting Colgrim was stupid to begin with. Fighting all of his followers throughout the temple was fucking stupid. I wish I could have avoided that. The entire quest is stupid. And as much as I'm all for respecting the dead, I'm not going to kill people to respect the dead. By the way, who are defending their homes. Sure, they want you to destroy the urn, they'll attack you, whatever. I don't care. I'm not interested in getting involved in that, so I'm not going to do it. So that's why I destroyed the urn. Simple. Also, I was never interested in fighting that high dragon. So that's my reasoning right there. I don't care if you agree or disagree. These are my choices. This is where I stand. You can hate me, you can like them. This is simply where I stand. I'm not gonna make apologies for them. Side of the werewolves needed an army, and the werewolves are more effective than the elves. The elves give you range power, sure, but it's really, really weak. And since I was playing on Nightmare, having archers that do 3 damage means little, or do 10 damage or something like that. The werewolves are pretty effective, pretty strong, and it's also a story perspective and not just gameplay. Story-wise, most of the elves are wounded. They're hunters, not soldiers. The werewolves are fearsome beasts, and apparently they're even immune to the taint for some reason. I guess it's the magic. Anyway, Orzammar choices. Really just gonna touch on these. Joined forces against Caradin, so I got columns. Need an effective weapon. The Blight is a disaster. The dwarves need all the help they can get as well. It's not just defeating the Blight. The dwarves need the help that they get from the Anvil. The dwarf noble origin drives home the point that the dwarf civilization is at the brink of annihilation. They need this, and they need someone like Balin. That's my reasoning right there. Anyway, mages supported. Kill them for what? I saw no reason for it. Gameplay wise, it's more effective to go with the Templars because they are better. The mages do more damage. The problem is they have a very negative tendency of throwing fireballs on you, so I really don't use them in the final battle, but that's not a real justification to kill them in my mind. Denerim put Anora. Obviously, if you're gonna kill Alistair, doesn't deserve more of an explanation. I think she'll be a good ruler. Originally, I thought that marrying Anora with Alistair would be a good thing, but no, I don't think it would go well at all. Battle of Denerim, Mordin killed the Archdemon, Harald of Redcliffe. I doubt that would matter, but I did help the village defend. Connor died, is all that lived. My reasoning there? Yeah, fuck Eamon, fuck us old, and as a result of that, screw their child. I really don't hope to see them again. Architect-wise, in terms of awakening, my reasoning with sparing the Architect is fairly simple. I think he's an interesting character and what he represents specifically. He adds a new facet to the face of the Darkspawn. He's an interesting character, and I hope to actually see him in the future. I think that he made the Darkspawn from just being mindless brutes killing everyone in their path to something a bit more interesting than what you typically see. So that's why I spared him. Also, sparing him, siding with him, allying him is beneficial to everyone. Because why? Well, his actions, as seen in Dragon Age Awakening, would just lead to civil wars among the Darkspawn, where a lot of Darkspawn would just be killing each other. That is very good for everyone involved. You really don't want Darkspawn to just continue undisturbed. You want it to kill each other. The more, the merrier. That's my logic. Sure, it could backfire badly in my face, but who knows about that. Interesting point about the Architect. We had Corypheus in Dragon Age 2 Legacy, who was a Magister of Tevinter, who was one of the people who discovered the Golden City of the Maker and then got cursed, and thus Darkspawn were born. Apparently, based on what David Gader himself stated, the Architect might be another one of these Magisters, in which case, well, things just got a bit more interesting, really. So, good reason to keep him alive in my eyes. Went with Morgan for the Luvian, Romancer, so yeah, why not? We'll see how how that plays out in Dragon Age Inquisition. The Warden's not in Dragon Age Inquisition, though there will be a presence. Your choices will not have an impact. Now I'm going to talk about the Warden's Keep. Yeah, killed Sophia because she's a demon, and also kept Avernus alive because he's he's doing unethical research. But that unethical research would be useful to the Wardens. Anyway, Hero, Marion Hawk. Hawk will play a role in Dragon Age Inquisition, like one of your generals or something along those lines. I don't know exactly what. Anyway, Warrior, two-handed weapons. Romance Fenris, yes, he is a Final Fantasy character, but he's one of the best romance options. Anyway, Bethany, because I was playing Warrior, Bethany survived, became a Grey Warden. I think that's the better end for her. The Wardens will protect her. Anyway, I really hope to see Bethany in the future. Didn't kill Bartrand, but whatever, he's insane. Helped Varric discover of the hunting. Varric did not keep the Lyrium idol. Now, when I play Dragon Age 2, I have him keep the idol, and the reason behind that is that keeping the idol is better than destroying it. It gives, like, depending on your choice, Varric gains rune slots or gets improved armor or gets, rune slots on Bianca. So it's really just down to a gameplay choice. I didn't think it would have a story impact, though apparently it does. So opted to destroy the Lyrium idol. I don't know what the actual impact is, no one knows, but apparently it's negative as far as I've read. Gave Isabella to the Arashok. I'm not going to kill anyone for a pirate slut who caused the Kunari problem in Kirkwall to begin with her fucking greed. Screw her. She's a fucking imbecile. She's a terrible character. Fuck her. Though we haven't gotten rid of Isabella yet. Anyway, Fenris alive and well. Meryl stayed with Hawk. Meryl stayed alive. Yes, everyone's alive. I don't really like Meryl as a character, but as much as I dislike Wynn, well, Wynn would have died anyway. Yes, she would have died anyway because I destroyed the Urn of Sacred Ashes, so that's another reason why I killed her. But as much as I don't like Meryl, she's not Wynn. And also, I did keep her Alluvian after all the pain and suffering she went through to try and get this thing. For her to destroy it is just really fucking stupid. So that's why I kept it. When I played Dragon Age 2 and I have the playthrough on my channel, she did destroy the mirror, but that's because I did a rivalry with her. And when you have a rivalry with Meryl, she destroys the mirror automatically. If you have a friendship with her, you can choose whether or not she destroys the mirror. Kept Anders alive and well. Don't agree with his choices, by the way, but well, I guess I did rival him. I did side with Templars, so we'll see how this whole thing plays out. Besides, killing Anders, as much as I disagree with his actions, he has a point. The status quo cannot continue. The status quo cannot continue, but didn't approve as his actions at the Chantry, because why would you? I mean, I get that a lot of people hate the Chantry, but why the hell would you? I can see the point he's making. I don't fully agree with it. I'm sorry. Also, it's really dumb. It's an allusion to 9/11, the way the Chantry is destroyed. Evelyn married Donick. Cringeworthy moment. Evelyn stayed with Hawk. Okay, recruited Sebastian. Meryl's clan was not killed. Made Talus angry. Screw Talus. She represents everything that's wrong with Dragon Age 2 in my opinion. I have nothing against Felicia Day, but she is not the kind of person you'd model a character after. And then give her directive control over a movie, an anime, or a live action series that she did for Dragon Age. Yeah, no, Bioware, that's a terrible fucking idea. Anyway, Act 1 doesn't matter. Act 2 didn't kill the Arashok because I gave him Isabella. Didn't kill Gascar Puy, he's a minor character. Saw no reason to kill him. Sided against Patrice. In Act 3, sided with the Templars. It's less dumb, that's why I did it. It's less dumb than siding with the mages and then having Orsino turned into a harvester regardless of that. So it's like, okay, at least I can understand why he would be desperate if you side against them. But if you side against Meredith, he still does it. And it's really stupid. Gator acknowledged that it's really stupid, so that's why I did it. what kind of an impact it would have? Well, the mages die regardless, and the mages that stayed in tower die regardless. Doesn't matter. I very much doubt it does. As for who I'll decide in Dragon Age Inquisition, the mages or the Templars, we'll see. I'm not really decided on that. It will depend on how the choices play to me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I made this so people know where I stand on my choices, what the choices are that I'm importing in Dragon Age Inquisition, so that I don't have to explain myself throughout the playthrough, and for people to know without having to watch my playthroughs of Dragon Age Origins, Awakening, or Dragon Age 2. So, Dragon Age Inquisition, it's going to be available in a couple hours. I'm using a VPN server, South Korean VPN server. EA said that if you use it to get past the release date restrictions, depending on where you live, they don't care. They really don't care. They will not ban you off Origin if you do that. So there you have it. Costin signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and stay tuned for Dragon Age Inquisition.